Okay, hello and welcome to class. And this is the third class of IELTS reading. Okay, so uh, what we're gonna do in this class is that we're gonna complete like the third reading in IELTS. So just before we start, so I'll just kind of recap what it is. What reading IELTS is. So again, reading IELTS. So there is gonna be 3 reading texts that you have to do, and it's gonna be I would say quite long. So it's like 2 pages for each reading. So in total, you can expect to read like 6 pages. So it's quite a lot, and then you have 1 hour to complete 40 questions. So it's quite a lot. So as I mentioned in the previous classes, that like you have to use a lot of strategies. So it's not just that like you read it and then you complete it. So there's a high chance where you miss, some information, or like the question trick you to answer like the wrong one, even if you understand the whole thing. So it's also a matter of, how to apply strategies, like reading strategies in the like in the reading task. Okay, so today we're gonna do task 3, and then actually it's gonna be the most difficult readings in the test. So as I mentioned that like there's gonna be like reading 1, 2, 3, and then the difficulties would kind of go from 1 to 3 as well. So like the first one, you can expect to see like some general text, general topic, general English. So you could be familiar with it. You would be familiar with like, the language itself. And then the second reading, it will be a little bit more difficult as it's becoming more academic. And then, the style would be a little bit more academic as well, like the structure of the text and so on. But for like the third reading, it's kind of academic. So it's going to be like academic. So like in terms of the topic, so it will be more academic in terms of like they're going to talk about researches, they're going to talk about, a topic that you would expect to find in like university reading text. And then the language, as it talks about, research. So the language will be more difficult as well because, the topic is quite big. So yeah, what you would expect here is that like it's going to be like the most difficult of all taxes that you complete. And also the question as well. So if you remember from the first and the second class, which is like the first reading and the second reading, it's actually like have 2 task types for each reading. Like the first one would be like 2 tasks, like the one that we did is like true, false, not given, and fill in the blanks. And then the second one, there will be 2 task types as well, which would be matching heading and then multiple choice question. And I would say like the task types that could be mixed around. Like for example, you might see matching headings in the first reading, or like multiple choice questions in the first reading. So it can be mixed up, but it will be 2. Usually it will be 2, like generally speaking, 2 task types per reading. But for the third one, it's actually going to be 3 task types, and then the question would be 14 questions. So it's 1 question more than the first 2, and 3 task types. So you can expect that it's going to be like a long reading. Like, I would say it might be like longer. The information would be more packed together for the third reading. Okay, so let's start. And you should have these material. So reading section 3, and this is what we're gonna do in this class. So the reading itself start from here. Why don't babies talk like adults? It's from here, okay? And then it goes all the way down to the second page here. So you will see that it's a little bit longer than the first 2. Okay, the information is like packed together. And the task that we're gonna do is this one, the first one, yes, no, not given, which is very similar, or I would say it's almost the same as true, false, not given. So this one you would expect to, you would use the same strategies as true, false, not given for this one. And 2 more tasks. So this one, fill in the blanks. So this one is fill in the blanks, but it's a little bit different from the first one we did, as you will see that it's not just upland that you have to choose the word. But what you have to do is that you have to choose the words from the list. So it means that like you have to read, what is missing, and then you choose the vocabulary, the given vocabulary here. So basically it's a little bit more difficult as you have to find the information. So we'll do just, like the first one that we did, like fill in the blanks, but you have to know the synonyms here as well. So it's not just, pick, a missing word from the reading text, just like the first one that we did. So as I mentioned, that's why it's a little bit more difficult, because there's more to it here. And also the last one, multiple choice question. And the strategy will be more or less the same as the second one that we did. Okay. But as I mentioned, the topic will be a little bit more difficult. The task is more complex, even if it's the same task types, but it's just a little bit more complex. Okay. So I would say, personally speaking, when it's come to task 3, I will spend a little bit more time to it, just because that it's like the most difficult one. So even if you have 3 readings and then 1 hour, so I mean, if you divide it equally, so the first one would be like 20, I would say like 20 each for each reading, isn't it? But my advice is that, like, because we all know that the first one is the easiest one, so maybe you should spend like less time on the first one. Like, personally speaking, when I did IELTS, I would kind of expect myself to do only 15 minutes for the first one, and I would say the second and the third one, it depends, because personally speaking, again, I don't like the matching heading, so I know that I will spend a little bit more time on, matching headings, because I don't like it. It's not the one that I'm familiar with. Yeah, so I would do the second one a little bit longer as well, even if it's like the text is maybe like easier than the third one. So like the second and the third one, I might spend kind of the time, I would say equal time on both. Okay, so but I would say it depends on how you do as well, like which tags that you like, or which tags that you dislike, like that. So it's like that matter as well. So when you practice, when you do the exercise, you should kind of know yourself which tasks that you are good at, which tasks you are bad at, so that you would spend time better on different tasks. Okay, so let's start here. And again, I want you to pause the video just now. Okay, so pause it. And then I would say for this one, maybe spend 20 to 25 minutes. 25 minutes would be fine, I think, on this. And then 3 task types. So reading, start from here on the left, go all the way to the right, and on the second page. And then the task that you have to do is like from number 1 here, 1 to 4, through 4, yes, no, not even. And fill in the blanks, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. So the multiple choice question. And so this is the third time that you would do it. So please choose the information based on the text. Okay, so like, you have to get the part of the text, the sentence that mention your answer. So if you cannot find it, so it's a high chance where you get the wrong answer. Okay, so when you answer it, choose the part of the text that's, I would say, represent your answer. Okay, so pause the video now, and then continue the video after you finish. I would say you finish with the task. Okay, so as you continue the video, I hope that you finish with all tasks. So that would be 14 questions and 3 task types. Okay. And before we go into like the answer itself, I want to remind you about reading sub skills that we're gonna use, in reading tasks. And I think it's applied. You can apply it to listening as well. Okay. So the first one is skimming. So when you do the skimming, so it's basically means that you want to get the main idea of the text. Okay, so when you skim, you kind of skim through, kind of everything. And then you know the tone, the vocabulary that they use in the text. And even if you are good at English, and it will be beneficial to skim as well in terms of vocabulary, because sometimes like one word, it could mean so many things, depends on the context, or like depends on, how you put it in a sentence. So when you skim it, you can kind of get the overall idea. Okay. And the second one, scanning. Scanning is when you try to find specific information. Okay, so it means like you have a target. You have a target in mind of like, the information that you want to know. And you try to find it in the text. And then when you find it, that's it, you're done. Like you stop reading when you find that piece of information. It's not like skimming, because when you try to find the main idea, you have to go from, the beginning to the end, because it could be, there could be like something important towards the end as well. So for skimming, you have to like read it all. But for scanning, you will just look for something basically. And the last one, detail comprehension. Comprehension means understanding, and for this one, it's mean that you understand it in details. So if you want to do like the detail comprehension for the whole text in reading test, I'm pretty sure that you're not gonna have enough time. Even myself, like I don't have enough time. If I want to read it in details for 3 texts, 6 pages, super long, so impossible. What we do is that like we just want to understand in details about the question that they ask. That's it. Okay, so that's all. Because we don't really want to, kind of go into like the details, and then like right after you finish the test, you forget about the reading anyway. So like there's no point in reading too much, in my opinion. So I mean, if it doesn't get you to the correct answer, so you should be like specific. Okay, so when it's come to IELTS, and then as I mentioned, there would be like different task types. So usually you could kind of group a paragraph in, a reading into, task type. Like for task type, for example, it could be like, these paragraphs are for the first task type, and these paragraphs would be for the second task type, or the third one for the third reading. So you should skim first, kind of group the paragraph together, so you know what to read, where to read, in the, in order to find the answer. Okay, and then you would just do the detail comprehension, only the part that you think that it contains the answer. So before we, actually, like, it's not before we continue. It's like what I want to start now is that I want you to skim the text once again. I know that you finished the text, you like finished reading it once already. So, but I want you to find a paragraph. Okay, so like, could you group it together and find, which paragraph belong to question 1 to 4, which paragraphs belongs to, question 5 to 9, and then like which paragraphs belong to 10 to 14. Okay, so pause the video right here if you need, to spend some time, go back and forward again. But the first focus now is that focus on the paragraph, like which one, whether like the first, third, like paragraph would be like for the first half, like, and so on, and try to find like, keywords that would help you with the, with the answer. Like, like, why do you think that it's for this paragraph, and so on. So like, so that you can kind of know how it helps. Okay, so pause the video right here, and then when you finish, you can continue the video. Okay, as you continue the video, so I assume you finished with the skimming and then grouping, 3 tasks with the paragraph already. Okay, so what I want to point out, I think it would be easier for you to notice is task 2 and task 3. This one, so question 5 to 9, and then also question 10 to 14. So these two are kind of like have some points that is like that stand out, and then it might help you. Okay, so if you have a look at question 5 to 9, this one, so there's like a topic of these paragraph for you. So they talks about 2 theories about baby talk. So they talk about 2 theories. Okay, and also for question 10, they actually mentioned that in the 7th paragraph, this part here. Okay, so these are like two focus that it would help you. Okay, so when you skim, I would kind of like see if I remember the two theories. So if you go back to the reading text, you will see that they would talk about the two theories. So two reasonable possibilities. Okay, and then they said like the first of these is called blah blah blah. So this would be like the first theories, and then this is the second theories. Okay, and the differences between these theories. So it's still like about theories. So I would say that for question 5 to 9, the only focus might be until like from this paragraph, over the past half century. Okay, go all the way to like previous stages. So I would say this would be like the focus, your focus. Okay, so to like this paragraph. And then for question 10, it says paragraph 7. And if you count paragraph, it will be this one. So, it will be right, just right, one after another. So that is kind of good sign, because it's like that they will not really, it's not common that it would be like, use the same information for like, two types in the reading. So for this one, so it would start off right here from number 10. I would expect that it would be like 10 to 14 would be down here. So back to the very first one, question 1 to 4. So I would assume that it could be from the first paragraph, a recent e-trade advertisement, and it goes all the way down to acquisition pattern here, because this one is like the starting point of question 5. So I would guess that these 3 paragraphs would be for the first set, like the first archetype. Okay, and it is like that. I mean, for this reading. So you will see that when you complete like the first 4 questions, you will only focus on 3 paragraphs, and then 5 to 9, another 3 paragraphs. So you will see that it's better, it's easier. Okay, so it's easier for you when you have the focus. Okay, when you have the focus. So it's not that you would have to read all like 2 pages long for the entire, I would say, the entire reading, and it's going to be like a long time. Okay, so this is the starting point. So let's focus on the first set of question, which is 1 to 4, and then it's yes, no, not given. So it's more of like true, false, not given actually, and I would say that it's the same strategies. So what you should do is that like you look at the sentence here and then you try to scan it. So you try to scan the reading text in order to find these information. Okay, so like these 4. Okay. And for this one, there's no, I would say hints for you anymore, except the first one. So like this, you have to find your own, keywords and try to kind of like, get the sentence. Okay, so right now, I mean, if you haven't done it, so look back at the 4 questions again, okay, and see like which word would be, a good one that represents, or like, a good start where you would, find these information in the reading text. For example, like the first one, they would focus on like, amused, and then baby talk like an adult here. So it's like part of the text. So like you have to find the ideas. Okay, so I'll leave you few minutes to look at these, look at like the keyword. Try to find the keyword, like what would be a good one for you to find. Okay, if you need more time to do it, so please pause the video right here before I show you like the keywords and the answer. But if you already finished, so you could just continue the video. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight the like I think it's like the keyword. Okay, that if you find these, it's kind of help. Okay, so I would say like these, like the for question 2 to 4, these would be like a good start. Like you like it's about like the main idea would be like we walk around these piece of information. So these are like the keyword. And then at this point, you will go back to the text and then try to find these information. And be aware that, you know, in true false, I mean, not just true false, I would say like for all tasks, even if like it's the multiple choice question, it will always be a trick kind of choices for you. Like it will, even if it's not given, you can find it. Even if you know it's multiple choice question and the choice is wrong, you still can find something, you know, in the text that kind of links to it. So like they try to trick you. Okay, so you will see that the keyword that I chose here is kind of like a name, like number 2 behavioralist. IST is like, you know, person, and then this is the time period, so it's quite specific. Okay, so because if I only choose like children, so children, like you can find like tons of these words in the text, so it's not a good one. Okay, and also here like the 2 as well, like maybe children, again there's be like tons of these words in the reading text, so it's not a good one that would help you pick the right sentence. Okay, you will see that actually like the one that I choose, it is the one that contains some kind of information that it's gonna be different from the rest of the text. Okay, so right now, maybe pause the video now and then go back to the reading text, okay, to find these 3 information. So these 3 information like match, try to choose a sentence that could be matched to this information. And then you decide later whether it's like true, false, or given. Okay, so right now pause the video and scan the text for these 4. Actually, it's gonna be 4 because we haven't done the first one yet. So for these 4 sentences, okay, so what is the match? Okay, let's have a look at the sentence. So let's focus on the first 2 questions for now. So like 1 and 2. Okay, so this is for the first question, and this is for the second. Okay, so for the first question, so the question, like the statement say, people are extremely amused. A baby talk like an adult. Okay, so you know, a baby who talks like an adult. So this is like match to the first one. Okay, and the part, so that's true for the second part of the question. Few things are as funny as a baby. So this is the first part. So we have to do the detailed comprehension. Whether few things are as funny as, whether it's like the same, the opposite, or like that we couldn't really tell, compared to people are extremely amused. Okay, so few things, so not so many things. Okay, so not many things that would be as fun as. So it means that a baby talks like an adult is like very, very funny, because not so many things would be as funny as, you know, like cannot be compared to that. So the first one is true. So you will see that it's kind of match that, like, you know, feel like it's very funny because like nothing else is as fun as this situation. So for the second one, here, actually you will see the keywords here, behavioralism, but actually like the question there is say behavioralist. So you will see IST is, you know, a person, and then this is the kind of like an idea. So behavioralist is someone who is, I mean, who believe in behavioralism. So it's more or less the same. And then also 20th century made exactly this argument. So the point is like, what is this argument? So whether it's like agree or disagree, like true or false, basically. So for this one, the question say that behavioralists, you know, argue that children learn to speak by copying adults. So made these arguments. So behavioralism. So I mean, behavioralists made this argument that children learn to talk by copy what they hear. So it's like true or like it's yes, it's a yes. So very be careful with the word argument. So if you translate this word into Thai, like argument, I would say like โต้แย้งเราจะท่องกันว่าโต้แย้งซึ่งพอเราพูดคำว่าโต้แย้งปุ๊บอะโทนมันแบบ negative เลยนะโทนมันดูแบบ negative มันดูแบบ disagree หรือว่าแบบดูเถียงอะไรเงี้ยแต่ว่าจริงๆแล้วนอกจากนี้เวลาเราพูดคำว่า argument อะมันคือการเหมือนแบบ support หรือเรามีความเห็นอะไรสักหนึ่งเรื่องแล้วเรามี support ให้กับมันเวลาเรา argue ก็คือเราแบบเหมือนเราอาจจะ argue for เรื่องนี้ก็คือเราอะเห็นด้วยกับเรื่องนี้แล้วเราก็เอาเหตุผลมา support หรือถ้าเรา argue against เรื่องนี้ก็คือแปลว่าเราแบบไม่เห็นด้วยแล้วเราก็จะมีเหตุผลมา support ความไม่เห็นด้วยของเราเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะใช้คำว่า argument อะมันบอกไม่ได้ว่า positive หรือ negative นะคือแบบ agree หรือ disagree มันคือแค่ประมาณว่าเรามี opinion toward ไปทางไหนเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะ very be careful เพราะว่าบางทีอะแบบถ้าเราแปลภาษาไทยบางคนอาจจะแบบปุ๊บคือคิดว่าเป็น false คิดว่าเป็น no เพราะว่ามันแบบว่าตรงข้ามนะแต่ว่าจริงๆแล้วคำว่า argue like we cannot really say only like I mean we can only design whether it's true or false or like agree or disagree with only the word argue it depends on the parts that goes with it like we argue for or we argue against and but very be careful when translating word by word English Thai like okay so the first two so they both yes let's move on to 3 and 4 so 3 and 4 is gonna be in this paragraph okay, so let me highlight the part so this is for number 3 and then for number 4 it's here so if you look at number 3 so number 3 they in the statements in the question they say have more conversations with adult and then this is like conversational they try to like they want you to match to the sentence okay but this one the meaning is it's a little bit different between conversational and conversation so in the question it say have more conversations conversation is like when people talk to one another งั้นคำถามมันก็จะแปลว่าเด็กๆอ่ะมี conversation กับผู้ใหญ่มากกว่ากับเด็กด้วยกันเพราะฉะนั้น key point ของข้อ3อ่ะคือจะบอกว่าคุยกับใครมากกว่าคุยกับผู้ใหญ่มากกว่าคุยกับเด็กด้วยกันนี่นะอันนี้คือคำถามทีนี้มาดูใน reading text นะ toddlers aren't as conversational as adults ทีนี้มาดูคำว่า conversational ซึ่งมันก็เกี่ยวกับการพูดคุยกันแต่ว่าเวลาเราพูดว่า conversational อ่ะมันหมายความว่าเหมือนคุยเก่งเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะประโยคนี้บอกว่า toddler ก็คือ toddler ก็คือเด็กถ้าถามนะ toddler พี่อาจจะประมาณ2 ขวบกำลังเริ่มเดินกำลังแบบเริ่มเดินยังเดินไม่ค่อยแข็งเนี่ยคือ toddler เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะอันนี้คือแบบเด็กๆคือเขาพยายามเขาบอกว่าเขาอธิบายไม่ได้ว่าทำไมเด็กๆถึงได้คุยไม่เก่งเท่า adult ซึ่งคำว่าคุยไม่เก่งหมายถึงว่าเวลาเราพูดมันเหมือนอาจจะแบบไม่ได้มีคำหรืออาจจะพูดได้ไม่เยอะเท่ากับผู้ใหญ่นะเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะมันเกี่ยวกับการพูดเหมือนกันแต่ถ้าเป็นคำถามมันบอกว่าคุยกับผู้ใหญ่มากกว่าเด็กแต่ว่าอันเนี้ยพูดว่าเหมือนบอกว่าคำพูดที่พูดออกมาแบบมันไม่เท่ากับผู้ใหญ่แต่ไม่รู้พูดกับใครนะไม่ได้บอกเห็นไหมเพราะฉะนั้นเขาอาจจะคุยกับผู้ใหญ่เยอะก็ได้หรือเขาอาจจะคุยกับเด็กด้วยกันเยอะกว่าก็ได้ nobody knows they didn't mention it here เพราะฉะนั้นอย่างเงี้ยมันเป็นไปได้ทั้ง yes กับ no เลยนะเป็น either true or false เพราะฉะนั้นข้อ3ก็เลยเป็น not given เพราะว่ามันโฟกัสคนละเรื่องเดียวกันอย่างนั้นจริงๆมันแบบมันเกือบจะเป็นเรื่องเดียวกันแล้วแต่ว่ามันเป็นคนละเรื่องเพราะฉะนั้น so very be careful on this okay and the last one they say like scientists found it easy to work out why baby use one word sentence เพราะงั้นone word sentence ก็คือแบบเหมือนเขานักวิทยาศาสตร์บอกว่ามันง่ายเลยที่จะบอกว่าทำไมถึงพูดแค่คำเดียวเนี่ยนะเพราะฉะนั้นตรงนี้คือเขาโฟกัส on คำว่าเนี่ย one word sentence คือตรงนี้เขาเปิดเรื่องมาก่อนเพราะฉะนั้นthis first word เนี่ยคือจริงๆก็คือ link to one word sentence ตรงนี้แต่ว่าเขาบอกว่า what is hard for them so this is quite straightforward the question say easy but this one it's hard so it's a no okay or like a false เห็นไหมเพราะฉะนั้นeven if it's true false does not say yes no does not say not given like you will be able to find part of the text แล้วก็อันเนี้ยมันก็จะชัวร์กว่าว่าแบบเนี่ยเขาตั้งใจจะสอยเราตรงนี้เขาตั้งใจจะหลอกเราตรงนี้คือถ้าสมมติว่าอย่างข้อ3อะใครที่แบบหาไม่เจอเลยอะไรเงี้ยคือมันก็ไม่มีจริงๆแหละแต่ว่าถ้าเราแบบหาไม่เจอเลยบางทีมันจะมีโอกาสพลาดข้ออื่นที่แบบจริงๆมันเป็น no แล้วเราหาไม่เจอเองแล้วก็เลยตอบผิดอะไรเงี้ยนะเพราะฉะนั้น very kind of be careful on this as well เพราะงั้นอันนี้เดี๋ยวกลับไปดูสรุปคำตอบอีก1ทีนะก็คือนั้น so so if I take it as a yes okay and then this one is a false and then number 3 it does not given so this is the answer for the first set เพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้เราจะเห็นว่าวิธีทำมันแทบจะเหมือนกับ true false not given เลยแหละ more or less the same okay let's move on to the second task 5 to 9 okay so this one so this one is a I would say fill in the blank is kind of fill in the blank but instead of writing typing or writing a word you would choose vocabulary from the choices that you have okay so the way that we do it is more or less the same as fill in the blanks okay but we add another step as you have to choose the vocabulary down here as well so they say like complete the summary using a list of words one thing that I want you to kind of pay attention to when you read the instruction is that if the instruction only mention this like use the list choose A to H like this that's it so it means that you could use letter only once คือใช้ได้แค่ครั้งเดียวถ้าเขาบอกแค่นี้ปุ๊บนะคือ assume ได้เลยว่าไม่ซ้ำคือมันจะไม่ซ้ำกัน for sure นะแต่ว่าถ้าสมมติว่ามันซ้ำได้เขาจะต้องมีแบบ remark มี note ใช้ข้างล่างว่า you may use a letter more than once ถ้าเขาต้องบอกว่าซ้ำได้ถึงจะซ้ำได้นะแต่ถ้าเกิดเขาไม่ได้บอก assume ไปเลยว่าไม่ซ้ำแน่นอนเพราะฉะนั้นให้แบบ bear this one in mind ว่ามันไม่ซ้ำทีนี้จากตอนที่เรา skim เนาะเราก็จะบอกได้แล้วว่าพูดถึง two theories and then it would start off with this paragraph as they mentioned two theories so this paragraph is for the first theory and then this is for the second and you will see from the reading from the question this one is for the first theory and this one is for the second as well so you can kind of scope it down okay so like for number 5 and number 6 it's gonna be in the first theory and then the 7 8 9 will be for the second okay so you can even narrow it down further from the skimming task นะเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้นะเขาก็จะบอกแล้วว่ามัน two theories ไหมแล้วเขาก็พูดถึง theory แรกแล้วเขาก็อย่างอันแรกเขาเฉลยมาให้เราเนาะว่ามันตอบว่า time ถูกไหมมันคือตอบ time ซึ่งแปลว่าเวลาตอนทำอันนี้นะวิธีทำเหมือนกับวิธีทำเนี่ยเหมือนกับตอนที่เราทำเหมือนตอนที่เราทำตัว fill in the blanks คืออย่างเงี้ยพยายามคัดประโยคว่าเขาพูดถึง theory แรกนะ to master language maybe like cut it right here find the keyword and then go back to the reading text and find the keyword again เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะจากตรงนี้นะจากตรงเนี้ยก็คือwhat I want you to do is I want you to find a keyword for each sentence for like the questions like 5 6 7 8 9 try to find like a key information that like key information that like would get you to the sentence เห็นนะเพราะฉะนั้นทำเหมือน true false เลยนะคือแบบพยายามหาจุดให้ได้นะพยายามหาจุดให้ได้then so pause the video right here okay before you like continue find the keywords here okay find the keyword first okay and then when you finish finding the keyword so please continue the video afterwards okay so these are like keywords for each question And if you have a look at this paragraph, the way they like summarize it, it's very similar to, you know, how you write a paragraph as well. So if you have a look, like the first part, they try to explain the theories, like what is the first theory, what is the second theory, and they also have an example, and the keyword is such as here. So this is such as. So it's mean like it's an example. Other abilities such as, so right here, when you try to find the answer, you would find the example. That is not the language because it's an example, like other abilities. And also the second theory is goes kind of the same pattern as, you know, they try to explain, okay, like the theories. So what is a key factor? And then, you know, before something occurs and occurs like happens. And then in the same way, so in the same way, so it means like ในเหมือนแบบทางเดียวกันเหมือนกัน so it means that it's an example of other abilities. So this is how you would get the answer. Okay, so right now, go to the reading text and then try to find a sentence that represent the the sentence before you choose the, you know, you choose the choice here. You have to find the information first. Okay, so pause the video right here. Go to the reading text. So focus on the only two paragraphs, okay, that we mentioned, the first and the second theories, and try to match these information to the sentences. And what you've seen in the video here, I mean on the screen here, is the keyword, like the part that could be matched to, you know, the information in task 2, question 5 to 9. So let's focus on, you know, the first theories first, okay? So I mean, number 5, you already got the answer, that is C, which is time, okay? Guess it says like young children's brain. So we see this part, it's talk about the brain. So because they're immature brains, so immature คือเหมือนแบบยังไม่เติบโตเต็มที่อ่ะคือเวลาเรา immature ก็คือเหมือนเรายังไม่แบบเรายังแบบ childish เรายังแบบเด็กๆอยู่เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะคำเนี้ยก็คือเลยเปรียบเทียบได้กับเวลาว่ามันยัง immature อยู่เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะคือถ้าโตเราก็จะ mature ขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นข้อ5ก็เลย match กับคำว่า time. And the number 6, as I mentioned, that they talked about other abilities such as, and in this paragraph, the only part where they talks about other abilities is the second sentence here, which is children don't learn to walk until their bodies are ready. So this one, it talks about their like bodies. So the answer would be choice B, physical movement. so เพราะงั้นก็คือแบบ movement ก็คือเป็นเหมือนกันก็คือแบบเดินไม่ได้ฝึกเดินไม่ได้ถ้าเกิดแบบขามันไม่แข็งแรงนั้นข้อ5ตอบ C ข้อ6ตอบ B boy. That's for the first theory. And then when we talk about the second theory, which is for question 7 to 9, okay, so it's go all the way from these, I mean it's just in this paragraph, only this paragraph. So they try to explain, you know, the theory first for 7 and 8 เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะตอนที่เขาอธิบายอ่ะactually I would say like the main idea would be this part นั้น focus on this part for 7 and 8. Okay, so here they say until they've crossed that linguistic threshold จนที่แบบเหมือนจะไปข้ามแบบเส้นอะไรในทางภาษาถูกไหมเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะไอตัว word combination การรวมคำเนี่ยมันก็จะไม่เกิดขึ้นเห็นไหมเพราะฉะนั้นคือแปลว่ามันมี process ของมันว่าถ้าเขาไม่แบบไม่ข้าม linguistic threshold ก็จะ combine ไม่ได้เพราะงั้นอันเนี้ยนะจริงๆมีคำว่า in other words อีกประโยคนึงอ่ะที่แปลเหมือนกันเลยนะด้วยเรารู้ว่ามันแปลเหมือนกันเพราะว่าคำว่า in other words แปลว่าประโยคเนี้ยก็ได้เหมือนกันคือแปลเหมือนกันเลยนะเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะประโยคเนี้ยเด็กๆเขาจะไม่พูด2คำจนกว่าเขาจะรู้ number of single words คือรู้เป็นคำๆก่อนเขาถึงจะเอามารวมกันได้เพราะฉะนั้นข้อ7อ่ะ key factor ก็คือต้องรู้เป็นคำๆก่อนนะเพราะฉะนั้นน่ะก็เลยตอบข้อ A vocabulary level, the vocabulary level, and for the for number 8 นั้นก็คือต้องอย่างแรกคือต้องรู้เป็นศัพท์ก่อนใช่ไหมถึงจะรวมเป็น2คำได้ซึ่งก็คือหมายถึง combination so that's why number 8 the answer is F sentence formation แล้ว in the same way มันก็คือเป็น other example ไหมเพราะฉะนั้นไอ้ตรง other example ตรงนี้นะ other examples ก็คือจะเป็นแปลว่าต้องพูดเรื่องอื่นเพราะฉะนั้นแต่ทีนี้นะจริงๆพาร์ทที่เขายกตัวอย่างมันคือมี2เรื่องแรกคือ basketball player can't perfect his jump okay before learning like jump and shoot okay อันนี้ก็คือ example ที่1ถูกไหมsimilarly การที่เราเจอ similarly ก็คือมันกำลังแบบพูดถึงธีมเดียวกันกับประโยคก่อนหน้าอันเนี้ยเขาพูดถึง multiply ก็คือการคูณเขาจะไม่เรียนคูณจนกว่าเขาจะแบบบวกเป็นทีเนี้ยมันก็เป็น other abilities ทั้งคู่เลยนะเป็นแบบ the same way ทั้งคู่เลยแต่ว่าถ้าเราโฟกัสที่ basketball player ตรงเนี้ยคำตอบมันก็จะเป็น physical movement ถูกไหมแต่ว่าประเด็นก็คือ physical movement ตอบไปแล้วในข้อ6แล้วเขาไม่ได้บอกว่าเราใช้ซ้ำได้เพราะฉะนั้นตรงเนี้ยมันก็เลยตอบไม่ได้เพราะข้อ6มันเป็นแบบ only choice เลยว่าต้องตอบ physical movement ใช่ไหมเพราะฉะนั้นตัวอย่างเนี้ยก็เลยแบบใช้ไม่ได้แล้วเพราะว่ามันแบบ wording มันตอบไปแล้วเพราะงั้นข้อเนี้ยเราก็เลยต้องมาโฟกัสที่อีกตัวอย่างหนึ่งก็คือเรื่องคูณกับเรื่องบวกเพราะฉะนั้นคำตอบก็เลยเป็นข้อ E นะ mathematical knowledge this one นะเพราะฉะนั้นเวลาตอนตอบคือจริงๆถ้าเขาบอกใช้ซ้ำได้ปุ๊บข้อนึงตอบได้2ข้อเลยจะ physical movement ก็ได้mathematical knowledge ก็ได้เพราะยกตัวอย่างคู่ใช่ไหมแต่ว่าอันเนี้ยเขาบอกแล้วว่ามันใช้ได้แค่อันเดียวเพราะฉะนั้นมันก็เลยจะต้องตอบข้อE เท่านั้นตัวนี้เพราะงั้น let's check the answerงั้นเดี๋ยวพิมพ์คำตอบให้แบบเรียงกันมาเลยนะว่างั้นตั้งแต่ข้อ5ก็คือ C ใช่ไหม and then 6ก็คือ B 7คือ A 8คือ F แล้วก็9คือ E so this is the answer for this task เพราะงั้นเหมือนเดิมเลยถ้าเด็กๆสังเกตถูกทาที่ทำเลยมันจะต้องแบบ at some point match ไปได้กับแบบว่าเนื้อเรื่องแล้วก็ต้องมีพาร์ทที่มันแบบ represent คำตอบนั้นเลยเพราะฉะนั้นเพราะฉะนั้นแบบต้องเลือกให้ได้ถ้าเกิดอยากจะแบบให้มันถูกเป๊ะๆนะเพราะฉะนั้น so this is how we tackle like the task okay so then let's move on to our last task which is the multiple choice question and for multiple choice question be aware that they're gonna have like many choices like there were gonna be some part that they try to trick you นะเพราะฉะนั้นก็ให้ระวังโดนหลอกนี่แล้วกันนะให้ระวังโดนหลอกด้วยเพราะงั้นแต่ละข้อก็จะมีคีย์เวิร์ดของมันเพราะฉะนั้นตอนนี้ถ้าใครที่แบบเหมือนตอนอ่านแบบสกิมแล้วก็ตอบเฉยๆyou pause วิดีโอก่อนนะแล้วก็กลับไปดูใหม่เลือกให้หน่อยว่ากลับไปโฟกัสชอยที่เราตอบเนี่ยว่าแบบเฮ้ยชอยที่เราตอบมันแมทช์กับพาร์ทไหนนี่นะขอให้ลองดูอีกให้ลองดูเพิ่มหน่อยนะถ้าเกิดใครที่แบบสกิมแล้วก็ตอบจาก from your memories please go back and choose part of the text that represent your choice the choice that you choose นะเพราะฉะนั้น pause วิดีโอไว้ก่อนนะ and then when you finish let's just continue Okay, so let's continue with question 10 to 14. Okay, so they talks about number 10, they talks about the main idea, main purpose of paragraph 7, which is this one. So like they try to, I mean, you have to find the main idea. So there's a lot of information here. So they talked about their research. Okay, so they talk about researchers, and then they mention like the the characteristics of the of their participants, or like the one who joins their research, who complete the research. And so like there's a lot of them. Okay, so they talk about like the characteristics. But I would say like the main idea, you should focus on the last sentence because they talks a lot about the participants. Okay, here, like, what are they? And then they kind of concluded here that all these factors that they mentioned make them an ideal population. Okay, so like why it's like the ideal is like the kind of the best practice, the best version, or the best way to do it. So why like this group is the best participant for the researchers, and then it's right here. So make them an ideal population. So the answer would be choice A. So the reasons why they were used in the study. So like these are like reasons. These are like the factors that they use. Okay, so the answer for number 10 could be matched to this part here. So this part. Okay, let's move on to 11. So 11, they talk about 3 researchers, which is like this 3. See? So it's you move on to the next part. And they ask about their research, and then they talks about the children. So they want you to find the characters of the children that they use. Okay, and the focus you should focus on is this one. So it's this sentence. And the answer would be choice C. So they were learning English at a later age. So they were older. So they were learning English when they were older than the natives. Okay, so that's why it's choice C. Okay, so and this is a keyword, so the name again, and like this is the answer that like it's a description of their population, and it's choice C. So let's move on to number 12. Okay, so number 12, so they talks about adopted children's language development that is differ from US born children. And then if you have a look at these ones, so they kind of like compare, okay, so they try to compare the like the natives and the non-natives, like their characteristics. And if you have a look here, the question asks about the different, but actually they mention a lot of similarities, right? So they say like here, if they say like just as with American born infants, so it's the same. Okay, went through the same stages, so the same again. Okay, adoptees and native native children, so the same again. So they try to trick you with a lot of similarities. But the key point, I would say, like the part that would get you to the answer is this section here. Uber at a faster clip. So they would talk all about the similarities. And then this one, they require you to know, a difficult one, and this one is like quite difficult. Overt at. It means but, however. So they went through the same stages, but at a faster clip. So see, this is the difference because it's faster clip. Yes, and then when it's something fast, something slow, the answer would go to choice C, which is the rate that they acquire language. Okay, so it's only like this part. The rest of the paragraph, it would be about the similarities, but this is the only difference. Okay, and let's move on to 13 and 14, our last two. So let's focus on these two paragraphs. So 13, they ask about how much fighting here. So the fighting, okay. So I want you to focus on this part. So this is like to summarize it all. Learning how to chat like an adult is a gradual process. Okay, so like this is kind of the main idea of the finding. So they like this part, they kind of like explain what it is. Like for example, this one, they're like 1 word before like 2 words, like it's a process basically. That's what they try to say. So the answer for 13 would be choice B. Language learning take place in order steps. So it's process. So when we come to process, it's mean like step 1, step 2, right? So in order step. And then the last one, they mentioned about critical period, and then you will find a keyword here. So when the writers mention critical period, he means a period. So we want to know the meaning of it. And the part that you would want to focus on is after which it cannot proceed with full success to fluency. So after which, yeah, so after which means critical period, like this which, it's this part here. So this one basically it means that after the critical period, it cannot proceed with full success to fluency. Like after at some point in life, you will not be fluent in that language. Okay, so the critical periods mean, you know, the period in life where you can be fluent in language. So the answer is choice D, language learning take place effectively. So that's the answer. So let's go over the answer again so that you can check. Okay, so I'm gonna mark on the correct answer for you, so just that you can check again. So these are the answers. So as I mentioned, you could kind of match, you know, the choice that you choose. You will have to, and like you would be able to as well. So to match your answer. And if you have a look at the choices, there's like very similar. It could be tricky, and you know, like they will try to trick you. So they want you to be confused and then get the wrong answer. So my advice for, I would say not just IELTS, like for it, like, you know, all types of reading tasks, is that you would be able to find the information from the text, and you should do it as well. Just that you could get the correct answer. Okay, and from our 3 classes, we pretty much cover, you know, all of the task types that you would come across in IELTS, and you will see that the way that we tackle it is very similar between one to another. And so again, it will help if you find the answer from the text. And I personally think that you know, reading would be one section, one skill that would get you to band 9. Okay, so like it will be easier than writing, in my opinion. So yeah, so but you have to like practice. Okay, so like the key points that you have to practice. Okay, and then well, that's it for the this course, which is IELTS reading, and good luck for the Excel for those of you who gonna take it.